As a circus artist and an avid reader, I figured I would do a video about all of the circus books that I've read. I have not read all of the circus books that are out there, but I plan to do this type of video probably once a year after I've read the next set of circus books. I know that there are some that are still coming out, which I'm really excited for, but I have read pretty much the main ones that are available that people talk about. I always see non-aerialists or non-circus artists talk about them though. It's helpful to have an understanding of circus when reading this type of book, I feel like, just like with imagery and just the culture and all that. The first one that I'm going to start with is actually a trilogy, and I don't have the first book anymore because I kind of cycled through my books. I already got rid of it. So it is the Micah trilogy. The first book is Pantomime. The summary of this one is Jean's life resembles a debutante's dream, yet she hides a secret that would see her shunned by the nobility. Jean is both male and female. Then she displays unwanted magical abilities, last seen in mysterious beings from an almost forgotten age. Matters escalate further when her parents plan a devastating betrayal, so she flees home dressed as a boy. And when she flees home, she joins the circus. These are two different sets of covers, so like this one would not be sold with this one. This is the second book and this is the third book. So I really like this set of covers. They're all kind of like this with different, like a black background and a different color like logo in the front that fits the theme of that book. I really like this book starting out, and I did like the overall book. Obviously I read all three of them, but it kind of got less circusy towards the end. The first book has more aerial and circus context. The main character has to learn trapeze and whatever and runs away with the circus, all of that. I would say this book is more of a good representation of someone coming to terms with their gender identity and sexual orientation. I feel like it's very fitting because circus is very inclusive like that. So I feel like the theme really fits with that coming of age type story. I did find my attention beginning to shift as I read through the second and third one though. The storyline really drew me in at points, but as far as the circus content, I would say the first book is probably where it's at. So A+ for representation. I really love that about the book. That was probably my favorite part about it. But if you're looking for a good, thorough circus read, that's probably not the one. Towards the end, it gets more into magic and like traveling show type thing, but it's a very small setup and it's more about the actual characters and their stories rather than circus. The next one I actually don't have a physical copy of anymore. It's called The Orphan's Tale by Jenov. 16-year-old Noah has been cast out in disgrace after becoming pregnant by a Nazi soldier and being forced to give up her baby. She lives above a small rail station which she cleans in order to earn her keep. When Noah discovers a boxcar containing dozens of Jewish infants bound for a concentration camp, she is reminded of the child that was taken from her. And in a moment that will change the course of her life, she snatches one of the babies and flees into the snowy night. Noah finds refuge with a German circus, but she must learn the flying trapeze act so she can blend in undetected, spurning the resentment of the lead aerialist Astrid. At first rivals, Noah and Astrid soon forge a powerful bond, but as the facade that protects them proves increasingly tenuous, Noah and Astrid must decide whether their friendship is enough to save one another or if the secrets that burn between them will destroy everything. This one I could not put down. I got this one from the library. It seemed very inconspicuous. The cover is pretty much just, you know, the end of that train boxcar. What do you call it? I don't know. I don't know anything about trains. It just looks like, you know, your average like adult book. It takes place within a traveling circus. The storyline is really good. This one is definitely more circusy. It has probably the most aerial out of all of the books that I'm going to talk about. I really like the circus aspect of it, and also that they were using the circus to hide. I feel like that's a recurring theme in a lot of these circus books. They're kind of using the circus as an escape or as a way to hide. I think in every single one of these books, the circus resembles something other than just the circus, which is interesting. The bottom line about that book, super engrossing, and it probably has the most aerial circus content out of all of the books that I've read, but it also has a really intense storyline. The last one that I'm going to talk about, Night Circus, which I'm sure we've all seen this. So this one is also kind of growing in popularity. It's been popular. It's #1 national bestseller. It's by Erin Morgenstern. The Night Circus is a phantasmagorical, whatever that means, dictionary word of the day, I guess, fairy tale set near an ahistorical Victorian London in a wandering magical circus that is open only from sunset to sunrise. Night Circus, you get it? This one is definitely circusy, as implied by the title, and I really love this cover. I was going to read this one after this one and I was traveling with them. I really felt that they went so well together. It actually opens up, which, to go like this little image here, but it's basically about two magicians that are put in this duel against each other by their caretakers. They're brought up and raised to do magic, and they don't know who each other are for a long time, but then once they figure it out, they end up falling in love, but turns out one of them has to die for this duel to end, and it all takes place in the circus. So the circus is kind of their canvas to make these magic things happen. They don't actually duel, they really just kind of like make things for each other with the circus, and it goes really into detail like describing these things. What's funny is there's a very small amount of romance in it, even though that's like a large part of the storyline. I don't like the book to be centered around romance, so I kind of liked that it was just kind of thrown in here and there, and it was actually just part of the storyline and not a focal point. The way that it kind of ties in, I think, is really, really good. I really enjoyed this book. I think that as an aerialist, there's not much aerial content there, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed it, and I really like the circus content and the creation artistic side of it. So even if you're mainly interested in an aerial book, I definitely would give this a read. Sometimes the writing is a bit hard to follow unless you have like a super high vocabulary, which I feel like I do, but then I read books like this and I'm like, do I actually know words? I could follow it, but at times it was kind of like, I don't really know what's going on in this paragraph. Just things like that. Keep that in mind. Definitely recommend this one though. I recommend all of them. They're all good in their own way, very, very different from each other. I don't regret reading any of them. I am always on the lookout for new circus books, so if you have any recommendations, please send them my way. I probably already know about it, but I still want recommendations in case I've missed a really good book. There are a couple on my wish list that I'm looking to get for next year, and I'll make a similar video like this for next year, so if you want to see any of those books in my next video like this, definitely let me know. I'll buy them and I'll tell you about it. As always, please subscribe and give this video a like. It really helps me out. I'm trying to get monetized so I can make money and quit my job and do circus full time, because of course everybody wants to run away with the circus and all that, but I guess for me it's in a less literal sense, but I still would like to make it my livelihood.